So, Henrietta, I would like to hear about your story a little bit. Can you give us a little bit of background about your
Yes.
story and how it shaped into the woman who you are today?
Awesome. So I was born and raised in Italy, and I'm the child of West African parents. So my background is colorful because I was raised both as an African and an Italian. My parents were strong believers that you do what the Romans do. They lived by that. So a lot of that shaped my views in life. I also have some Italian families as well because they adopted my parents. They saw them as hardworking people, and they wanted to make sure that they'll be successful. So that's why connections, it's a very big deal for me. And so when I migrated to the U.S., that different background, that mindset of there's so much more out there in the world, it's something that plays a role in my life even today. So even how I approach situations, I don't just look at it as black and white. Gray very much exists. So I make sure to always put into account both sides of the story in everything that I do, whether it's personal relationship, professional relationship, just everything that you can think of. I always make sure that I include it's inclusive before I even make any decisions. So I would say with this Women's History Month, this is kind of a nice little touch because being a woman is pretty complicated. Many people, even my husband sometimes says, how do you do all of these things? So I don't think we're just born into it. I think we are easily adaptable, and that's what I have done. And so because of that, I learned to celebrate who I am. Even with the challenges, I've learned to celebrate who I am and use some of these diverse backgrounds to help the next person that may need those kind of help. So yeah, that's a little bit about my background.
Yeah, in what ways do you believe the celebration of Women's History Month can empower individuals to challenge stereotypes, break barriers, and strive for gender equality?
This is a good one. I think over the years, society has done a great job to give women a voice to be able to really compete with the men. Because I feel like we're still competing. That's just the reality. But in the process of that, I think women's identity has been a little bit put on the side, right? Because we have to keep up with keep up with the other gender, really. So we had to be tough. But one thing I want to say is that we should celebrate even our vulnerabilities. It's okay to be vulnerable. That's what makes us empathetic. That's how we're able to even nurture children, nurture, our environments. So one thing I would say is be a woman and celebrate being a woman. That alone is challenging stereotypes. That alone is breaking barriers. A lot of the things that we couldn't do before, we're able to do now. But if even when we go back to like the World War II or during the World Wars, right? It was the women that held the society down. Mm-hmm. That already is challenging. How industries went on, it was the women. Yes, we had children, but it was the women. They made great big decisions. They transformed society, and they nurture the men that went to war and came back. So I would say just be yourself and be your authentic self. We don't talk enough about that today, unfortunately, and I understand that our environment doesn't foster that. But I would say you being Ji Young, I'm being Henrietta Deny is already enough to challenge the society, and that's what I challenge everyone to do.
Yeah. Last but not least, so could you share a message of empowerment for young women and girls who aspire to make a difference in their communities and beyond?
Yes, I would say nothing is too small. Nothing is too small. You could be sowing seeds today, but they're all going to be they're going to yield success in the future. It might not be your generation, but it will be your children's generation and the generations to come. So everything that you're doing, put in all your efforts and truly believe in it. I think we second guess ourselves a lot because we're women. We think we have seven thinking caps on all the time, but just every little thing that you're doing, just know that it will benefit in the future. And so put all your energy into it, and know that there are other women out there that are celebrating. At least I'm celebrating all the women that I come across, because I know being a woman is not easy. And so every little thing that you're doing to change the society one step at a time, I think it's a very big deal. And that's why I encourage everyone to pursue their dreams.